Hello, Internet, and welcome to SonyCentric, the Outerhaven's official PlayStation podcast. I'm your host, Jason Kwasnicki. I'm joined by the faithful Mark Sullivan.
Yo-ho.
It's a lonely day here at SonyCentric, folks. Unfortunately, there is no third wheel, but that just gives the two of us more room to express our bulging personalities. They just want to get out there. Bulging was probably a bad word to use. The images.
That was an interesting word choice.
God, fuck. That wasn't even me trying to make a sexual reference. It just happened.
That's alright. We'll power through.
My mind is not. My mind is still in Overwatch. Mark and I have been playing a shit ton of Overwatch.
Yeah, we have been.
And as you might expect, Overwatch will come up in just about every topic here. We'll try to start, though, not anything to do with Overwatch. Although maybe Overwatch, actually probably Overwatch will never come to PS Plus. That would be like an impossibility.
But you do need PS Plus to play Overwatch online.
Yes, you do. Oh my god, he just made the connection. Fuck.
Made the connection.
So,
Da Vinci Code shit, man.
Yeah. Ian McKellen was the bad guy in the first movie. I don't know. I can't think of any other movie with Ian McKellen where, like, you don't remember he's in the movie. So PS Plus, Mark, what do we got? What do we got for the June update?
June actually has a solid lineup for the first time in what feels like a long time. I mean that's all. I mean, let's be real. That's all completely subjective. You may have enjoyed, previous months, like the past few months with the games they've given, and some of them have been all right, just not what everybody wanted. This year, though, this month, we actually have a AAA title. And that is NBA 2K16.
Man, well, you know what? That's to be fair, that is really exciting for a lot of people because sports games make bank.
And it's a step in the right direction regardless. Like I don't care about sports games. I don't really care about sports, and I still see this month as like a very, very good month and a step in the right direction.
Philosophically, yes.
Yeah. But other than that, the game I'm actually more excited for, we're also getting Gone Home, the console edition.
Will I give it another chance? Because last time I was like, nope, I don't. Well, whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's only 2 hours long. Finish it last time? I forget.
I might just download it and keep it on the backlog for a rainy day.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I played it when it came out. It's a walking sim, and you just walk around a house. But it has a very, very touching story. It's powerful in an emotional way.
And keep in mind, folks, I'm not biased. I'm the guy who reviewed The Witness for the Outerhaven, and I gave it a 10 for gameplay. Like, I'm not against these whatever walkathons experiences, whatever you want to call them. I just didn't buy into the story the game was selling. At least on my first try, maybe a second try, I'll get more invested. I don't know.
For what Gone Home does, it does it very well, and I actually can't wait to play it again. And I haven't played it since it came out, so it's been, oh god, I feel like almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to go back to it. Other than that, for PS3, Echo Chrome and Siren Blood Curse.
The fuck?
I no clue.
We go from the PS3 getting like the fucking Mass Effect trilogy on PS Plus to like Siren Blood Curse. What the fuck?
Yeah. I guess it's a horror title. I'm familiar with Echo Chrome, and that's pretty cool, but Vita is getting Little Deviants and God of War Chains of Olympus. So that's the second month we're getting the other God of War spin-off for portable.
I don't know. We might be seeing a God of War announcement in the future.
I think this is a ramp up to E3. I think they're trying to get people stoked for a new God of War.
Not that we didn't make a prediction about it or anything.
Yeah, no, not at all. Episode 19, SonyCentric. Go give it a listen.
Speaking of which, I'm already down one on that. My Destiny prediction. I mean, technically, they are announcing information about a Destiny expansion or DLC. Yeah. But they're doing a Twitch stream. Bungie does a lot of Twitch streams for Destiny. They're doing a Twitch stream next Thursday, though.
Well, that's not to say that there won't be something during Sony's conference. I kind of have a feeling there most likely will be.
There probably will be a follow-up trailer, but I have a feeling they're trying to cut down on Destiny time for the for the actual press conference itself.
Oh, probably.
To make room for other stuff.
Probably. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw or heard something on stage. But we will be going back to that episode after E3 and recounting, we'll be tallying up the points, see who is right, see who is wrong, see who wins the so-called competition.
Mark will be buying me a steak dinner when we're all sitting down playing The Last Guardian. Day of the conference.
The day of the conference, yeah. Right.
It's happening.
Oh man, okay.
We'll eat that steak while I'm playing Last Guardian.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just have to sit back and watch.
So, PS Plus June. Things are not a 10, more like a 7. They're getting there.
But a 7's way better than like a 3.
True.
Like the past 3 months, so.
I mean, it's only a matter of time before, I actually never purchased the order because of the shitstorm it got. But I'd like to play it and see from my own eyes, what it was all about, why people didn't like it. I just don't want to pay for it. So give it to me on PS Plus. I'm already paying for that.
Hey, speaking of the order, actually, Ready at Dawn did reveal their newest game.
Ooh, do tell.
And it looks, it's called Deformers. It looks very, very different than the order. To say the least. It's a smash 'em up arena brawler kind of thing.
That sounds interesting. I like those. Some golden axe.
It looks very, it looks more, it looks kind of like, I feel like it's like a Rocket League type thing where it's just like, jump in and play a quick match of versing against each other.
Kind of like Smash or All Stars.
But it's not even like 2D fighting each other kind of thing. You play these. I don't even really know much about it. I saw the images. I read a little bit about it, and it's like more cute and colorful.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Yeah,
Overwatch, so successful, so cartoony.
not near. I don't feel like not nearly that like Pixar-y.
Okay.
But I don't know. If you're into that kind of thing, if you're into, it almost looks like more of an indie game.
Okay.
It's definitely probably not the only. I'm pretty sure it's already confirmed. It's not the only thing they're working on. They likely are working on an Order 1886 2 or sequel, whatever you want to call it, for Sony.
I don't know.
They have multiple projects in the works.
I don't know because that IP carries such a stigma now.
Yeah, but Sony did want to turn that into a franchise.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, they probably already have a lot of assets, and the game, if nothing else, looks great.
I mean, if at the very least, maybe that game is being worked on, just not by Ready at Dawn.
True.
But I'm pretty sure Ready at Dawn is working on multiple things, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is one of the things that's on the back burner, and this Deformers is their current project.
Yeah, kind of like how Sony Santa Monica, they got God of War working, but then they got shit like Fat Princess. Nice,
yeah,
bright, family friendly. Well, Fat Princess wasn't exactly family friendly. Cartoony shit, we'll just say.
Yeah.
All on that Overwatch zeitgeist. And speaking of Overwatch, there's some changes coming to Overwatch, and we might even already be getting teased new characters. We'll start with those balancing, that little balancing act Blizzard's got going on over there. Mark, you're on the up and up with this. So we got some nerfs, we got some buffs. Lay it on us.
So speaking on the Battle.net forums and I believe with GameSpot, Rowan Hamilton, one of the lead guys on Overwatch, he mentioned that there are already some balance changes being worked on for 3 specific characters he singled out. I don't know. I have to imagine it's probably more than just these 3, but he did have these 3 to plug at the time. McCree will be getting a nerf because McCree just does a shit ton of damage if you have a certain combo with him that utilize to just crush.
You throw a flashbang, which immobilizes an enemy for a few seconds, and then you just fan the hammer. You do automatic 6 shots from your revolver. It's like an instant takeout for most opponents, except for tanks, in which case you can roll, and when you execute your combat roll with McCree, it automatically reloads. So you roll and then just unleash another one. It will take out anybody.
So that's a stun, and then 12 almost immediate shots of just pure damage. So, needless to say, McCree's been frustrating a lot of players with that combo, especially when he gets up close and personal where that combo is meant to be utilized. They've singled him out to be getting somewhat of a nerf. I believe exact details about that are still unknown.
I hope it's not too bad, because it does take some skill to properly set that up and execute.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be very close in order to even use the flashbang.
Exactly. And like somebody like Genji can deflect it.
Right. But using Fan the Hammer, rolling, and then using it again, that's an insane combo that pro McCree players utilize to just piss people off, so to speak. Other than McCree, D.Va is getting a damage buff, which makes me so happy.
Yeah, I do feel that she was a little too weak. She's not too weak, and I don't want them to make her too powerful, because she is supposed to be a faster tank that's more for close range.
Right.
So as long as the range is still kept.
Even at medium range, like her cannons don't do nearly enough damage. I feel you have to get very, very close, and her mech can also be really, really quickly destroyed in the heat of battle. For a tank, I feel like that's kind of problematic.
Yeah. So
I'm personally very happy she'll be getting some sort of buff. I'm excited to hear more about it, because she is my most played character.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Reaper's getting a small change, not a buff or a nerf. Players apparently complained that when you use his teleportation ability, I think it's called Shadow Step.
Yeah, something like that.
When you use that, when he reappears in the place that he's teleporting to, no matter whether you're an ally or an enemy, smoke and the visual effect that appears is always the same color. So it's been kind of confusing players. If stuff's going on around them, they see a Reaper teleport next to them, and they turn to take care of him, and it turns out it's an ally. Well, that just distracted them. Changing that visual effect will limit that a little bit. You'll see a color that's more akin to your team, and you'll know, oh, I don't have to take care of this because it's my buddy.
So smart changes all around.
Yeah. So
everything seems pretty justified.
Yeah, that's everything that Rowan Hamilton seemed to pull out so far. I have to imagine there's more, the amount of people complaining about Bastion, Torbjorn. I do know that he did also single out that play of the game, the algorithm for that is going to be, because, you and I can attest to this, pretty much the same characters almost always get play of the game.
Right.
If it's not Bastion, it's Hanzo. If it's not Hanzo, it's Torbjorn. If it's not Torbjorn, then it's Reaper. It's the same. It's usually the same characters. The
damage dealers. Unless a medic can get in there and get like 4 revives at once.
Yeah, which happened to me.
Yeah,
I got play of the game for that. Doing a 4-person res. That was awesome.
Right. It feels good, but it's rare.
Yeah,
and it's always the same fucking people. So, again, understandable changes all around. I think it'll make games much more, not palatable. They're already really fun. Just a little less annoying here and there. But even more excitingly, we might be getting some character teases. I'm trying to read this story here. So Blizzard has been teasing a new short, like one of those story shorts for Soldier 76. That's going to take place on Dorado. It's one of the maps in the game. Obviously, I'm assuming it takes place. What?
We're getting another Soldier 76 short, because they already released one, didn't they?
Yeah, it's about Soldier 76. I have a feeling it won't be solely about him, though. They're just teasing it as about him. If this story is true, or if the speculation, I should say, is true.
Okay.
As part of this, a French theater chain put out a teaser image claiming that a new hero would be revealed. Obviously, since then they've claimed it's an egregious typo. I can't see how that's a typo. Somebody just fucked up. So I think it's safe to say we'll be meeting somebody new, maybe not a character explicitly in the game, but there will be somebody, whether it's part of the lore or not. But, I mean, why wouldn't it be a character that's getting released, you know? Or is going to be part of a DLC somewhere down the line. I shouldn't say DLC because this is all supposed to be free, if we're to believe Blizzard. Now...
Yeah,
what?
I really hope so.
Yeah, if it doesn't turn out to be free, there's going to be some backlash. That's going to be a shit show. So, people have been speculating as to what this could mean. People have already been speculating about the map Dorado itself. Let's see. So, back in November, people noticed that there's a table in Dorado, and there are files on that table about both Soldier 76, who in the lore is Jack Morrison, and Jack Morrison, along with Reaper and whatever the fuck his name was in the lore, I can't remember. They're like the two founding heads of Overwatch. They were the leaders. Well, Jack Morrison was like the sergeant who kept them all together, and Reaper was like the original leader. And then there's also a file on the table that says Sombra as like a code name. Now, one of the other founding members of Overwatch, it was like Reinhardt, Soldier 76, Reaper, and then Pharah's mother, Anna, who is not a character in the game as of right now. However, this file, Sombra, made people suspicious. Oh, Sombra must have been Anna's codename or whatnot. And because this short is taking place in Dorado, now people are speculating there's going to be a new character coming that will be Sombra, or at least the video will reference Sombra, and maybe Anna, Pharah's mother, will become a playable character. And there's all speculation going from there. Like apparently it might be like a support class / sniper. What do you think, Mark?
I don't know about the lore specifics, just because I'm not brushed up on the lore. I feel like we could use another support for sure. And if I feel like I've read that the rumor was there's either going to be two support, the two characters are going to be introducing either two supports or a support and tank, as far as I read.
I do feel like we need more support characters to at least get people interested in playing support, because it's very hard right now.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I feel like the majority of the characters I've been playing, they've been supports. Like supports are way more fun and satisfying to play than any other character I've been playing, except say for maybe D.Va, because I've just been rocking D.Va like crazy.
I feel the same way. Mercy was like my main. I don't want to say main because you really shouldn't be maining a character per se.
Right.
But like Mercy was my go-to character, and it has been for like a really long time. And it's like, I guess one of the problems with the game, you could say, is that it doesn't reward you in a lot for playing that support role.
Exactly.
You don't get as many points for backing people up as opposed to killing things.
Which hopefully is going to be like a change that they introduce. If changing the algorithm to play the game, that might help in rewarding supports.
Right.
Instead of just rewarding people that get a lot of kills very quickly, reward more people like Mercy that are resurrecting, a bunch of characters at once. Reward Zenyatta's for just... I play Zenyatta a lot, and I throw out those Discord orbs like crazy to increase the damage that my team is dealing. Reward people like me for doing it.
Yeah, you very rarely see on the tickets at the end of the game, you very rarely see, like... One of the stats you'll rank up a lot is Zenyatta is like assists, if you're throwing out those orbs correctly. Yeah. You very rarely see somebody with a card, unless it's like 30 assists, which is like, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to get more than 20 of... There's a trophy for getting, 20 kills or a 20 kill streak or whatever. Like, it's difficult. Much less assists.
So,
but, yeah.
Having another support, like Sombra with a being a support sniper kind of character, and that's another thing. It will also be interesting to see another support that's more like Symmetra,
Right.
who is a support, but she doesn't.
She's
have
also
any
a
healing
builder.
capability.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a support builder. She's not a support healer, like the other 3 supports are. Like Lucio has an AOE heal that he just does passively when you have that mode set. Zenyatta has his healing orbs. Mercy is a pure.
Yeah, Mercy's the only pure healer.
Yeah.
Lucio is more of a buffer. Zenyatta's buffer, debuff, and then, like you said, Symmetra is builder.
Yeah,
shielder.
It'll be interesting to see. Like, I want another support that's more like Symmetra, a support that isn't purely, just healing. Symmetra is a builder that makes these sentry turrets, and her ultimate is a teleporter that gets the team closer to the front lines. I want another support like that. So that's what I'm hopeful for with these characters, or at the very least one of them.
I definitely think we'll see that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Moving on from Overwatch, because we talk about it way too fucking much.
Well, I mean, that's gonna continue, man. The game's so good.
Yeah. But getting back to something that's a little more near and dear to the hearts of the Sony hardcore, because this is a SonyCentric podcast.
That's the name of the show.
See what I did there? Crash Bandicoot. I've kind of stayed away from this for a long time because this has been like an ongoing saga of like, oh my god, that guy wore a fucking Crash Bandicoot shirt at this conference.
Yeah, remember
it
that.
means Crash Bandicoot is coming. Oh my god. I just have one question. Why?
That one? Remember that, just real quick. Remember that one commercial? It was like a Greatness Awaits commercial, whatever Sony was pushing for, and there was like a street sign that had a picture of Crash on it, and everyone flipped the fuck out, like, oh my god, the new Crash No, good god.
Yeah, people are like obsessed with seeing this, and like, there have been a lot of reboot. I want to like, make this a center stage of kind of a larger question, and I'm looking at some quotes here. Hold on one second. So the head of Activision has been on record as saying, I don't have anything official to announce, but I can speak as an individual. I love Crash Bandicoot. These were some of my favorite games growing up, and I would love to find a way to bring them back if we could. Sony president and group CEO Andrew House said, this is very dangerous ground. In concept, it is something we've been thinking about and discussing, and this is a shift for us. We've started to say that maybe there isn't anything wrong with going back and looking at characters that people still talk about and that were a big part of either their childhood or, Sony's past. A lot of different individuals have been teasing Crash Bandicoot in particular. We've obviously got a lot of other projects coming out. We got Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're trying to bring back I shouldn't say bring back, they're continuing Shenmue, which I don't know who cared about that before E3 last year.
Oh, apparently a ton of people. But,
apparently.
Not the most vocal, I guess.
People have been talking about Naughty Dog going back to Jak and Daxter for their next game. And it's
That's not happening.
I just want to use Crash right now as kind of a launching off point. And especially because bringing it back to what we were just talking about, Overwatch, we've seen how awesome something new can be. Do we really want Crash Bandicoot? Is this what we want? And just Crash, I'm just gonna for a second look at Crash Bandicoot in particular. When you go back and play those games, and you can play them by playing Uncharted 4, there's a spoiler alert. There's a sequence where you play a little bit of Crash Bandicoot. I don't think it's really a spoiler. It's all over the internet.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the game's been out almost a month now. It's more a surprise.
It's an Easter egg
than it is a major spoiler. There is a short sequence where you do play the first level of the original Crash Bandicoot.
And when you play it, you realize, holy shit, this game kind of sucks.
I mean,
it doesn't hold up.
Well, I wouldn't say it. Yeah, it doesn't hold up. That's what I would say. And not even that level. That level kind of maintains, I don't know, some sort of childlike innocence maybe, and it's not even like anything we haven't even done in Uncharted. There have been instances where we've run towards the screen away from something. Just remember back to Uncharted 2 when you're running away from the truck. In like the beginning of Chapter 5. It's like not dissimilar from that, but I will say if you go back and you play other levels of the original Crash Bandicoot, that game really it starts to show its age. That game does not hold up whatsoever.
Exactly. And I get how you can make the argument that, oh, they'll modernize Crash. It's just the character that we want. And, you know, the same goes for, like, Jak and Daxter, that people make the argument, we'll modernize it, we'll utilize what Naughty Dog has been doing with story, with narrative, with presentational values, and make it something fresh. But at the same time, like, Naughty Dog tried that. The Last of Us was originally a new Jak and Daxter game, and it looks like shit when you go and look at their, like, concept art and stuff for it, and, like, 3D models they brought up. Like, and it's not even, like, a question of, could it be good? Could a new Crash game be good? I'm sure with the right team and the right ideas it could be, but wouldn't you rather a team be given free reign to do something new and just bring something fresh? I think that's almost one of the best parts about Overwatch is, yes, we've seen these gameplay mechanics before, specifically it borrows heavily from Team Fortress 2,
Yep.
but everything else about it feels so fresh, especially the way the characters work with each other.
Right. We haven't really... TF2 launched in 2007. I don't know that we've really had any other, you know, class-based or... Well, this is more hero-based, but you know what I'm saying. Like a team-based shooter like this.
Yeah.
Since the launch of TF2.
Especially one that's so heavily dependent upon the characters themselves and their abilities. I mean, that is the center point of the gameplay. It's not even necessary. I mean, it is the team mechanics and the objective-based nature of the matches, but actually winning those matches requires you to synergize and even as a player individually, not just synergizing amongst your team, but switching between characters and synergizing to counter other characters. It's just something new, and not to mention that the aesthetic of the game itself just has so much personality.
Has a lot of personality, has a lot of charm. And before anyone argues... to counterpoint my argument that I just gave, if anyone mentions Battleborn, that is not the same thing.
Battleborn has much more MOBA blood in it than...
Exactly. That is
Overwatch.
Much more of a MOBA shooter. It is by no means the same thing. Even while aesthetically it's somewhat similar, it gameplay-wise it is not the same.
That game has, like, hard RPG mechanics in it, whereas there's none of that in Overwatch.
No, you load up a match, you pick a character, you don't level that character, you just play them. You don't switch loadouts or anything. It is that is how that game works. With Battleborn, you're leveling up in the middle of matches, you're choosing upgrades over other ones, you know, you're evolving within the match, whereas in Overwatch it's just you go into a match and you have to work with your team, and that's all it is.
Right, and I guess overall the reason I wanted to bring this up now, because this Crash Bandicoot story, it's not necessarily a new thing, but I've just been looking at it now in the light of something as successful as Overwatch that's not an established franchise.
Right.
And it makes me think about, because I also follow a lot of movie news, I'm a big screen junkie, as some might say. And you look at the state of Hollywood right now and how dependent it is on franchises, and I'm not just talking about Marvel or Star Wars, but like in general, like you don't get in Hollywood right now, you don't get very big budgets unless your script, your movie is based on a pre-established franchise. You know, something like, you know, the Alien movies that Ridley Scott has going, or they're making tons of Predator movies. There's a new one coming out, and Terminator, you know, anything you can think of, Rocky, anything you can think of that, you know, has a legacy, a name that people recognize, a brand that people are familiar with. It's just less of a risk for big companies to throw money at it, and it's kind of a problem in some ways because a lot of enthusiasts are like, hey, we want new things, but it's a catch-22 where the new things, like a good example is something like Edge of Tomorrow, which was a good movie, and was something completely different, but it didn't make much money in theaters because people were just unfamiliar with it. They had no idea what it was, so a mass market, you know, they didn't go to see it in theaters. They didn't pay the $12 or whatnot for a ticket. Right. So it's a catch-22 where Hollywood can't put a lot of money, put a lot of faith in new ideas because it's only the big franchises that make the money. And I'm just worried that as video games become something this big, I mean, they're already bigger than movies in terms of how much money the industry makes. I'm worried that video games will fall into that same category, like that same problem.
Where you need to be in an established franchise to be successful.
Right.
I feel like Overwatch right now is the perfect antithesis to that. But it's also, you also have to consider the pedigree behind it. Blizzard,
yeah,
a well-known developer and publisher. And not to mention the hype around this. This is their first IP over
17 years. 17 years, yeah.
Oh, almost 2 decades. So there was a lot of hype around this, and you also have to consider marketing. They were putting out shorts, had ads running. Like this game was known by most people that follow video games.
But and the scary thing is, look at a game like Sunset Overdrive. Now, granted, Sunset Overdrive was on the Xbox One, which Xbox One. We're talking
about Xbox One.
Yeah, but
Sony
hold on, it's Insomniac though. That's so.
No, I'm joking.
I'm trying to draw a parallel to Blizzard because Insomniac has a pretty good pedigree as well with Ratchet and Clank. Obviously, It's not as rock solid as, say, Naughty Dog, where, Naughty Dog, it's almost like they can't fail these days.
They haven't released a bad game since before Crash Bandicoot.
Right.
So.
And, whereas Insomniac has had a stinker here or there with Ratchet and Clank, All for One and all that shit. But
we can go outside of, Ratchet and Clank. They put out Fuse, and that game was...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Game was very bad.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But they went with Microsoft and tried to establish a new IP that looked promising, looked very promising. It looked like it carried some of the best aspects from Ratchet and Clank and brought it into an entirely new open world. And there are people who swear by that game. It has a very large cult audience. But it was a dud. It was a stinker in terms of sales. And you know what? You can try and blame a lot of that on just the state of the Xbox One. But
at the time, that was late 2014.
Yeah. At that point, it was, in terms of the American audience, it was pretty neck and neck. And I only say that because with a studio like Insomniac, I feel like the primary target audience is American. Like, that's not a huge, like, Ratchet and Clank is not a huge IP in, like, Japan per se.
No, it is very much more popular in the West.
Right. So I feel like, you can't really blame the Xbox for that one. It was just the problem of a new IP that people weren't familiar with. They probably had no idea Insomniac was behind it, and it failed. It's like an Edge of Tomorrow situation, and tying it back to that movie parallel, where it didn't do too well on release. It still has a cult following of people who appreciate it for what it is.
And critically, it did perform well as well. So
yeah, that too
works very well.
I'm just worried that games like that can't succeed, or it will get to a point where games like that can't succeed.
So bringing this back to Crash Bandicoot, I feel like the biggest thing the people want a new Crash Bandicoot for is just because everyone's so nostalgia driven. It's the same reason Final Fantasy VII Remake is happening, and to an extent, like, there are certain games that it works for. Insomniac never really stopped making Ratchet and Clank games, but they just put a new one out and it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now it's not the same situation. Whereas Crash has been gone. I want to say since the mid 2000s. Whenever Twin Sanity came out, I think that was the last one that Activision ever put out.
I think so. I have no idea though.
Yeah, it's been a while. Whereas we've been getting Ratchet and Clanks almost every 2 or 3 years. But I feel like that's the main reason people just want Crash Bandicoot games, and it's not to say that the reason I'm bringing up Ratchet and Clank so much is just because Ratchet and Clank has proven that this type of game is still a thing that people do want, not just based off of nostalgia necessarily, but just based off of, like, this is a game that people still want to purchase, a platformer. Yooka-Laylee is also a good example of that.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what happens with that, because I'd love a platformer like that in that vein, but like, one of the things I appreciate about Yooka-Laylee is like it's a completely new IP. It obviously has inspirations from Banjo-Kazooie,
Right.
but new art, new aesthetic. I want to see what people can do, you know?
Yeah, and the last example I'm gonna pull out is how Insomniac and Naughty Dog have always had they've always had this companionship throughout their development years, and their companion, Insomniac's companion to Naughty Dog's Crash Bandicoot in the day was Spyro.
Right.
Look at Spyro now.
Skylanders makes a lot of money.
Skylanders makes them a lot of money, but old school Spyro fans like me not care about that game, and it's not what I would have wanted from a new Spyro game. I can't imagine whatever Activision decides, whoever they decide to give it to, and whatever that team decides to do, I can't imagine everybody is going to be satisfied with a new Crash Bandicoot game.
Of course not.
And
especially because they have to change it so much to make it feel like a modern game. Right.
And you know what? Like, you know what? Naughty Dog's not going to do it.
Of course they're not. Why the fuck would they do it?
Like, we're going back to like new IPs versus existing IPs and you know, carrying on that stuff. Naughty Dog has proven that they really, really do thrive on creativity and new projects. The Last of Us is a perfect example of that. Uncharted, they said, you know, this is Uncharted 4 was Nathan Drake's last adventure. I wholeheartedly believe that, and the same reason I don't really want a The Last of Us sequel. Besides reason just for the story, I want to see what else they have up their sleeves. I want to see what other ideas that team has, because they have proven that they have some great ideas.
Right, take it to space. Take it to the Middle Ages. Go fantasy.
Hey, you know what?
What?
What would be really cool is if they took this is by no means a new theory. I did not come up with this. I've seen it plenty of times, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. Take that comic book series that was in the Last
Star
of Us.
Savages or whatever.
Savage Starlight.
Savage Starlight. Yeah, I want to see that.
Take that and make a game of it.
Yeah, that's what I would like to say.
That could be very interesting.
That's what I would like to say, but you can see more about that in what episode? Fuck. I might as well just link every episode, because we always say, we talked about it on this episode. But, yeah, Crash Bandicoot. Do we really need it? I don't think so.
No, I do. I think it is so much more, you know, I want it rather than I need it. Like,
right, people would line up to buy that game, and then they'd pay $60, get home, and be like, oh, this is what I paid $60 for.
Yeah, this is like that. You're going to be disappointed. I feel, no matter what. That it's not going to be anything like what you played as a kid. It's if you don't believe me, go back and play the first Crash Bandicoot. The third one is great, but I'm strictly talking the first game. Yeah. I can't really speak much to the second one. I don't actually think I ever played the second one, but the first one does not hold up. And I don't know that they can really that any team could really modernize this series again, and you know, make it viable, make it marketable.
It's just too much of a product of its time,
right?
But we want to know what you guys think. Do we need Crash Bandicoot? Is it just a lost artifact of the 90s that should stay there? Could it be Sony's next big, or I guess next big revived IP? Let us know in the comments, because this is an interesting ongoing conversation that I think really speaks not just to, you know, Sony fans and the franchise of Crash Bandicoot itself, but more so to the direction of the video game industry as a whole.
Yeah, so it's a conversation people won't stop bringing up. So,
and in my opinion, they should. Just let creators create, and let's move forward and find new things to be excited about. Franchises are cool. It's cool to have things that we go back to every now and again, but sometimes it's best to, you know, let a dead dog lie. I just made up
dark.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know where I was going with that one. But I think we just had a good conversation there, Mark. This was a good SonyCentric. I like that.
This is an intimate, very intimate show.
For those of you who don't know, SonyCentric is the Outerhaven's official PlayStation podcast, and I'm your host, Jason Kwasnicki. And this is Mark Sullivan, the vigilant, always ready to fact check me. If you like this show, please hit that like button down there. Leave comments, tell us what you thought about this. We want to talk more about what you want us to talk about. We want to have some dialogue going here. And if you want more video, hit that subscribe button. Head over to the Outerhaven's official YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/theouterhavennet. For more, we got plenty of podcasts over there for you to check out. Or you can check out all our news, reviews, written content over at www.theouterhaven.net. We got some dank shit over there. Oh, there it is. The dank of the day.
Yeah, we
almost forgot.
Said that all episode. Oh my goodness.
Well, Internet, this has been Jason Kwasnicki. Peace out.
Later.